everyone, I'm Margie O'Brien with Capital TV. This is another Capital Spotlight, and joining me today is Representative Aaron Regunberg. Thanks for being here.
Great to be here. Thanks, Margie.
So it's been a very productive session so far. Do you take away the same feeling?
Yeah, things have been moving fast. It's been great, I think, to actually be moving forward on some big pieces. We're going to be voting on online voter registration today, which I've been working on with the Secretary of State. So it's been a great session so far, in my opinion.
That's a very positive thing for Rhode Islanders. How do you feel it will impact the actual number of people getting to vote?
In other states, right now, 33 other states have online voter registration, and we're talking about from bluest of the blue to the reddest of the red, so it's not an ideological issue, it's just a good governance issue. And I think that the research shows that it does have a positive impact on number of people registered, number of people coming out to vote. It's about moving our state into the 21st century. You know, if you can pay your taxes online, if you can go to college online, you should be able to change the address of your voter registration online.
And I have been seeing the ad that's been playing from Massachusetts where they'll say, what could you do for 5 minutes on your phone? And some people say, I'll text or I'll send a picture, but you can just register to vote in less than 5 minutes.
Exactly. And that, you know, we should be trying to make folks' entry into our civic process, into the electoral process, I think, is as easy as possible, as obstacle-free as possible, and that's what this is about.
Well, let's talk about some of your initiatives. I know one of the big pushes, besides just jobs in the economy, is specializing in the jobs in the economy field, and one is the Green Initiative. Tell us about your legislation that is in line with that.
So I've introduced this year a carbon pricing proposal, which I think is a really exciting piece of legislation that not only should help with our climate action and reducing our emissions, because we know that Rhode Island in particular is very vulnerable to rising sea levels, to more extreme weather events like what we're seeing with global warming, but also should really jumpstart this incredibly important part of our economy. You know, OER recently came out with a report that the green sector of our economy is growing faster than any other sector. We've got 10,000 jobs now, and that's looking to continue faster and faster growth. And so
what a place to put your investment in, correct?
Exactly. So we should be doing our best to stimulate and invest in that. And what this legislation would do is really kickstart that, really put the resources into investing in renewables, efficiency, and create a concrete economic incentive for folks to actually take advantage of those opportunities.
Can you give some examples of that? I know there is an idea of a rebate for families, and then also how people can probably educate themselves to get away from the dependence on the fossil fuels and move towards some of these greener initiatives.
Yeah, so the concrete way that the proposal works, it puts a fee on carbon pollution paid for by the companies that sell fossil fuels in Rhode Island, but then it doesn't hold on to that revenue in the normal way. It injects all of that right back into the local economy, both through a rebate program that goes to every family and every business, which protects Rhode Islanders from any pass-along costs, but also creates that incentive for them to invest, because the greener you are, the bigger a rebate you get back. And second, it produces some more revenue resources for us to invest in our renewable and efficiency programs to make sure they're in fact accessible to all Rhode Islanders who want to use them. And the really good news is the coalition that's working on this had a analysis done by Remy, which is the same firm that did the tolling analysis, that found that this has a hugely positive impact on our economy, over 1,000 net new jobs in the first year alone, thousands more in the future. So to me, this is sort of a win-win-win, and it's exactly the kind of thing we should be really starting a conversation on.
That is very promising. Switching gears now, one bill that just came across my desk that I thought was interesting was in the criminal justice field, dealing with the prisons and trying to remove the idea of solitary confinement for inmates. Why is this something that you're looking at?
So I introduced this bill really because I think we need to get a conversation started about the use of solitary and particularly prolonged solitary confinement in our prison system. This is a practice that there's a growing field of research shows has devastating psychological consequences. You know, it's linked to suicide, to violent behavior, to depression, to inability to interact socially with others, and other long-lasting consequences that, your sentence could end, you get out back into the community, but you're still facing these issues. And so I think that's why This issue's been getting a lot of attention recently. The president has condemned it. He recently did an executive order around reforming its use in the federal system. The United Nations has described it as akin to torture. And so I think here in Rhode Island, we really want to take a look at this. Other states have done some reforms that have not only cut the number of folks in solitary, but have then led to lower numbers of assaults on corrections officers, better discipline, better rehabilitative results. So I think this is not a tool that we need to rely on as much as we do. There are better, humaner alternatives, and we need to be looking into those.
Very interesting. So we're going to keep an eye on those two initiatives. Something recently you were just talking about that I think will really catch the ear of many people, and that is having employees invest in sick time. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I'll be introducing a bill that would guarantee all Rhode Islanders the opportunity to earn paid sick time at their jobs. Right now, over 40% of Rhode Island workers don't have any potential to earn sick time. And so what that means is we have hundreds of thousands of Rhode Islanders who have to choose between, their own health, between the health of their kid and taking care of their kid who might be sick and has to leave early from school, and their paycheck, or risking to lose their job. And that's not a fair choice. That's not a choice that I think leads to good public health outcomes. We've been seeing states around us tackling this. Both Connecticut and Massachusetts have passed earned sick time laws. I believe Vermont is about to pass it. It's passed the House. It's going in the Senate. So we're sort of an outlier now in our region, and I think this is the kind of bill that a huge number of Rhode Islanders, it will make a real concrete impact on their lives without being such a huge burden on businesses.
And it would take off the stress so much of a parent who, again, as you said, has to choose besides, taking care of your little kid at home where they should be when they're sick rather than going to work.
Right. That's not a choice that I think any Rhode Islander should have to make. And right now the reality is a lot of them do.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll definitely keep an eye on the online registration.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right. That was another Capitol Spotlight. I'm Margie O'Brien for Capitol TV.